Welcome to this session on walking working surfaces and reducing slip, trip, fall injuries, hosted by me, Joe Wimmer, Loss Control Supervisor at West Bend Mutual Insurance. Falls are among the most common causes of serious work-related injuries and deaths. Employers must take measures in their workplaces to prevent employees from falling from overhead platforms, elevated workstations, or into holes in the floor and/or walls. Given the various walking, working surfaces that you may be exposed to on a daily basis, our learning objectives today are to identify hazards in the workplace associated with walking and working surfaces, identify best practices for recognizing or controlling hazards associated with walking and/or working surfaces in the workplace, and utilizing best practices to reduce slip-fall related injuries. There are many situations that may cause slips, trips, and falls, such as ice, wet spots, grease, polished floors, loose flooring or carpet, uneven walking surfaces, clutter, electrical cords, open desk drawers and filing cabinets, and damaged step ladders. The controls needed to prevent these hazards are usually obvious, but too often ignored, such as keeping walkways and stairs clear of scrap and debris, coiling up extension cords, lines, and hoses when not in use, keeping electrical and other wires out of the way, clearing parking lots, stairs, and walkways in snowy weather, and using sand or salt as needed to prevent slip and fall related injuries. Work surfaces should be kept clean, dry, and appropriate as a means to help assure slip resistance. Types of shoes or the soles of your shoes should match the job task to reduce possible slips. Wet operations should be properly drained. Spilled material should be cleaned up immediately, and ice and snow should be removed frequently, regularly, and promptly. Trip hazards are also another leading loss driver to fall-related injuries. Poor housekeeping or design, loose flooring, carpet, or uneven surfaces can be a contributing factor to fall-related injuries. In addition, cords, hoses, open drawers, rail systems, or other protruding items can also create a trip hazard that can lead to a fall. Aisles and passageways should be well lit, clean, and marked. Storage of materials and equipment should not interfere with walkways. Scrap, debris, and waste should be removed often. Cords, hoses, and other work-related trip hazards should be kept out of the work zone as much as practical. If you can't fix a hazard, you should report it immediately. In this situation, the picture to the left shows a rail system for a piece of machinery that is adjacent to a walkway. Since the rail system cannot be moved and there is no practical means of reducing the risk of a trip hazard, it has been identified by the right picture utilizing a high visibility caution tape. While it does not fix the trip hazard, it draws attention to those who may be walking nearby of a potential trip hazard. Fall hazards are also an extremely hazardous condition that can lead to significant injury and/or even death. Sometimes it may be necessary to access the top of surfaces that are greater than 4 feet from the level below. These less routine situations require equal protection. Lower level fall hazards are present in situations where there are top or open pit tanks, vats, ditches, or other areas where there is an unprotected level below the walking working surface. The best way to handle these types of hazards is to engineer out the need to access such surfaces whenever possible. For example, moving a tank gauge to ground level. By removing the need to climb, you reduce the risk of a fall injury. If you are unable to control the fall hazard, you must be trained on how to properly access the area that creates a fall hazard, have the right tools and education, or report the risk before an injury occurs. Controlling fall hazards on open-sided platform and runways. They require a proper guardrail system at all times. Platforms and runways next to dangerous operations required standard railings regardless of height. Floor openings, floor holes, wall openings, and open-sided platforms or runways are hazardous situations. Properly protecting floor and wall openings and elevated platforms is crucial in eliminating fall hazards. If you experience any situation such as the ones pictured below, contact your supervisor and report it immediately. Floor openings, such as those needed for stairways, must be protected. Standard railings must be present on all sides of the opening except at the stairway entrance. A standard railing is 42 inches high and made up of a top rail, a mid rail, vertical post, and toe board to prevent struck-by hazards to those using the stairs. Every open-sided platform or wall opening that is 4 feet or more above the next level must be protected by a standard railing. Guardrail system must meet the following requirements. A standard railing on an above walking working surface must consist of a top rail, a mid rail, and posts. If there's a risk of a tool falling from a higher level, it must also have a standard toe board. Conditions leading to incidents involving falls from ladders, scaffolds, scissor lifts, stairways, floor openings, or other elevated surfaces could be from improper ladder selection, condition, or use, improper scaffold selection, condition, or use, and improper stairway design, condition, or use. Unprotected or poorly protected floor and wall openings or open-sided platforms or runways. Fall hazards associated with other elevated surfaces should be reported to your supervisor. Ladders are commonly utilized by employees to gain access to height. If improperly used, ladders can also lead to fall-related injuries. There are 3 main types of ladders: a step ladder, extension ladder, and fixed ladder. One of the leading causes of fatalities and injuries is improper ladder usage. Always ensure ladder safety when utilizing a ladder to gain access to height. Ensure you use the right ladder for the job, the ladder is free from defects, and that the ladder is properly used. Select, use, and maintain your ladder according to the manufacturer specifications. Read and follow all labels and markings on the ladder. Do not exceed the maximum load rating of the ladder. Be aware of the ladder's load rating and of the weight it is supporting, including the user, tools, and equipment. Use the right type, length, and rating for the job. Never use the top 2 steps or rungs of a step ladder. Tell your supervisor if you need a longer ladder. Always inspect the ladder prior to using it. If the ladder is damaged, it must be removed from service and tagged until repaired or discarded. Use a ladder only on a stable and level surface, unless it has been secured at the top or bottom to prevent displacement. Do not place a ladder on boxes, barrels, or other unstable bases to obtain additional height. Wear proper footwear. Make sure the ladder is free from grease, soap, and other slippery materials. Make sure cords and hoses aren't in the way. A ladder placed in any location where it can be displaced by other work activities must be secured to prevent displacement, or a barricade must be erected to keep traffic away from the ladder. Always maintain 3 points of contact when climbing or descending a ladder. 3 points of contact include 2 hands and a foot, or 2 feet and a hand at all times. Keep your body near the middle of the step or rungs and always face the ladder while climbing or descending. Maintain proper positioning. Do not lean away from the ladder to carry out your task. Always keep your weight centered between the side rails. Move the ladder as necessary. Think of the belt buckle rule. Try to keep your belt buckle within the two outer rails of the ladder at all times. This will prevent incidental falls from a ladder due to leaning. All stairs require proper lighting for safe use. All stairs should be inspected on a regular basis for condition and housekeeping related hazards. Items should never be placed, left, or stored on stairs. Even a good set of stairs can be the site of a fall if not properly used. Maintain at least 3 points of contact. Do not run up or down stairs. Do not carry heavy objects and try to keep hands free at all times. Never jump off a stair. Items should never be placed or stored on stairs. Stairs should be inspected on a regular basis. Remove items to ensure no one gets hurt. If you identify a hazard, correct it or report it. The easiest and most effective means to reduce the risk of a slip and fall related injury is to ensure you have proper footwear. A set of sturdy, slip-resistant sole shoes or boots will help build a supportive foundation for each of your steps. Here's what to look for in your next set of footwear. Many shoe or boot manufacturers are offering products with a softer rubber outsole that is slip-resistant when exposed to oil and water than traditional outsoles. Slip-resistant outsoles provide improved traction and grip and can reduce incidental slips. Just as important as the material is the design or pattern of the outsole. Outsoles with a flat or enclosed tread pattern can trap liquid under the outsole and form a barrier between the shoe and the walking surface, creating a condition that reduces traction. The condition is similar to hydroplaning when driving in wet weather. A good tread pattern should be both raised and recessed as well as intertwined to allow liquid to be channeled away from under the outsole. The ability to channel liquid out from under the outsole and intertwined pattern to increase flexibility and traction with the walking surface decreases the risk of an incidental slip. If you know the conditions you are going to work in pose a risk for a slip or fall related injury, there are other products on the market that can help. Over-the-shoe or boot traction devices are products that can be slipped on over your shoe or boot and can provide additional traction in icy, snowy, or wet weather. Think of your footwear as you would think of a set of tires on your vehicle. Flip your footwear over and look at the sole. Does it have good tread? Does it have even wear and is it supportive? Or is it bald with uneven wear and non-supportive? We wouldn't drive a vehicle with a bald set of tires, so don't walk around all day with soles that are bald. They'll lead to incidental slip-related injuries. Just as important as our footwear is awareness for our surroundings. Watch for areas of running or standing water. Areas such as roof drains create slippery conditions. Refreeze is another slip hazard during the winter and spring months. Refreeze occurs when ice or snow melts and the runoff collects and refreezes. Make a mental note whenever you see standing water during the day, as it may be icy conditions come the evening time. Refreeze can commonly be found in poorly designed drainage, surfaces that have dropped, or snow and ice preventing drainage. Be cautious throughout the year for all hazards. Look at changes in elevations, gaps, broken cement, loose or damaged walking surface hardware such as grates and covers. Areas that are not well lit should be reported. If you identify any slip, trip, or fall hazard throughout the year, try to correct it or report it immediately.